Before we dive in, like this video and comment where you're watching from. Your support fuels these stories. Now, let's begin. At 5:12 a.m., Eli Turner's phone buzzed, shattering the quiet of his cramped apartment. The struggling mechanic, barely scraping by, rubbed sleep from his eyes. The call was urgent. A billionaire's private jet was grounded at Skyhaven Airport, and they needed him, now. No details, just an address and a promise of cash. Eli grabbed his worn toolbox, threw on a faded jacket, and climbed into his rattling pickup. The sky was still dark, the air biting as he drove to the tarmac. The jet gleamed under floodlights, a silver giant surrounded by suited men with slick hair and smug grins. They eyed Eli's oil-stained boots and chuckled. "This guy's fixing her jet," one whispered. Eli ignored them, his focus on the aircraft. Lives depended on it. He popped the engine panel and froze. The fuel line was shredded, wires frayed, a spark away from catastrophe. Whoever maintained this should have been fired. One wrong move, and the jet would have been a fireball at 30,000 feet. Eli's hands moved fast, years of fixing broke-down cars in backyards guiding him. The suits kept laughing, phones out, recording the hillbilly at work. Inside the terminal, a woman watched silently. Sophia Vance, the jet's billionaire owner, stood apart from her sneering staff. Her eyes, sharp and curious, locked on Eli. She wasn't just rich, she was aviation royalty, a pilot who'd built an empire. What she saw on that tarmac stunned her. In minutes, she'd step out, stop everything, and ask a question that would shock the world. Eli's wrench danced across the jet's engine, his brow slick with sweat despite the dawn chill. The tarmac hummed with tension, Skyhaven Airport staff gawked, some filming, others whispering. The suits' laughter grew louder, their designer coats flapping in the wind. "He's gonna blow it up," one scoffed, sipping coffee from a monogrammed cup. Eli didn't flinch. He'd faced worse, eviction notices, empty fridges, nights wondering if he'd lose his garage. This jet was just another machine, and machines didn't care about bank accounts. The fuel line was worse than he thought. Corrosion had eaten the clamp, and a faint gasoline scent warned of a leak. One spark from the ignition coil, and the tarmac would be a war zone. Eli's hands steadied, his focus absolute. He patched the line with a spare clamp from his toolbox, rerouted the wiring, and checked the seals twice. Time was bleeding away, minutes, not hours, to save this beast. Inside the terminal, Sophia Vance leaned closer to the glass. Her staff's snickers faded as she watched Eli move like a surgeon, his torn jacket a stark contrast to the jet's polished frame. Sophia wasn't just a CEO, she'd flown jets, designed them, felt their pulse. She saw what her pilots missed, a disaster in waiting. Why was this stranger, in faded jeans, the only one who cared? Her breath hitched as the jet's lights flickered, a low hum rising. It was alive, the suits froze, their smirks gone. "Impossible," one muttered. Sophia's heart raced, not from the jet, but from the man who'd saved it. She pushed through the terminal doors, heels clicking, ready to change everything with one unthinkable question. The jet's hum steadied, a heartbeat reborn on the tarmac. Eli wiped his hands on a rag, the grease smearing like war paint. He didn't smile or pause for applause, there was none. The suited executives stood dumbfounded, their phones lowered, laughter choked off. "That was minutes," one stammered. Eli slung his toolbox over his shoulder, ready to leave Skyhaven's glare behind. He'd done his job, nothing more. Then the jet's door hissed open. Metal steps unfolded, each clank slicing the silence. Sophia Vance descended, her navy suit sharp as a blade, gold earrings catching the dawn's first light. Her presence commanded the tarmac, staff straightened, engineers flinched. But her eyes, fierce yet searching, fixed on Eli. He stopped mid-step, toolbox heavy in his grip. She wasn't just wealth, she was a force, the kind that built empires and broke rules. "You fixed it," Sophia said, her voice low, cutting through the wind. Eli nodded. Yes, ma'am. She stepped closer, heels clicking like a metronome. My pilot said it was scrapped. A week to replace the engine. He missed a fuel leak inches from disaster. Eli met her gaze, unfazed. I don't walk away from death traps. Her lips twitched, not a boardroom smile, but something raw. The suits shifted, sensing a shift in the air. Sophia turned, her voice sharp. Everyone, inside. Now. The terminal doors swallowed her staff's protests. Alone with Eli, she softened. I've met men who promise the world and deliver nothing. You're different. Eli's brow furrowed. Just did my job. Sophia's next words hung like a storm cloud. What if I asked you something crazy? The tarmac held its breath. That shocked the world. Sophia Vance stood inches from Eli, her eyes locked on his. The tarmac felt smaller, the jet's hum a distant pulse. What if I asked you something crazy, she repeated, her voice steady but laced with a tremor. Eli's grip tightened on his toolbox, his face unreadable. Most men would have laughed, cracked a joke, or frozen under her gaze. But Eli, hardened by years of struggle, saw past her title. He saw a woman searching for something real. Crazy how? He asked, voice calm as gravel. Sophia's breath caught. She wasn't used to being challenged, not by pilots, not by boardrooms. What if I asked you to marry me? The words landed like thunder. The wind stilled, a distant plane's roar fading. Eli didn't blink. He studied her, not the billionaire, not the empire, just Sophia. You don't know me, he said, wiping grease from his fingers. That's why I'm asking, she countered, stepping closer. I've had proposals, dozens. Men who saw my wealth, not me. You saved my jet, risked your life, and walked away. No agenda. Just truth. Eli's jaw tightened. I didn't do it for you. I did it, 'cause it was right. Sophia's eyes lit up. Exactly. The terminal's glass reflected curious faces, phones pressed against windows. Whispers spread, Sophia Vance, aviation queen, proposing to a mechanic? Eli glanced at the jet, then back at her. You're serious? She nodded. As a heart attack. He exhaled, boots scuffing the concrete. Take off your shoes. Sophia blinked. What? If you're real, walk with me. No titles. Just us. Her heels hit the tarmac, bare feet following him into the unknown. Sophia's bare feet touched the warm tarmac, her discarded heels glinting like relics of a life she was leaving behind. Eli led her past the jet, its silver bulk casting long shadows. The terminal's prying eyes faded as they walked toward the airfield's edge, where old hangars stood like silent sentinels. Sophia matched Eli's stride, her navy suit out of place against his faded jacket. She didn't ask where they were going, she trusted the man who'd saved her jet. Eli pushed open a rusted hangar door, revealing a dim interior. No jets, no polish, just a folding table, a cracked chair, and walls plastered with yellowed photos. Planes, engines, a young Eli beside an older man with his grin. My dad, Eli said, voice low. Fixed planes nobody else could. Taught me everything. When he died, I got this place. Kept it alive on sweat and stubbornness. Sophia turned, taking in the humble shrine. Every man I've met wanted my empire, Eli continued. You're offering something. If it's real, it's not about jets or billions. It's late nights, grease stains, and coffee in chipped mugs. Sophia's lips curved, a real smile. That's all I've ever wanted. Outside, the world buzzed. Phones captured their walk, clips already viral. Sophia Vance, barefoot with a mechanic? The internet exploded. But inside the hangar, time slowed. Sophia sat on the table, her suit creased. You stayed, Eli said, almost surprised. I meant it, she replied, eyes steady. The air felt charged, not with wealth or power, but with possibility. As dawn's light spilled through cracked windows, Sophia knew this was no impulse. It was the start of something unstoppable. Sunlight poured into the hangar, dusting Eli and Sophia in gold. She sat cross-legged on the table, wearing Eli's oversized flannel over her suit, sipping coffee from a dented mug. Her polished CEO mask was gone, she looked like a woman who'd finally breathed. Eli leaned against a workbench, tweaking a wrench, stealing glances. You're still here, he said, half smiling. Sophia raised her mug. To Greece and cold mornings. Outside, chaos brewed. News vans lined Skyhaven's gates. Billionaire missing, screamed headlines. Leaked footage of Sophia's barefoot walk with Eli went viral, #Tarmac proposal trended worldwide. Her boardroom erupted. Victor Klein, her deputy, paced, red-faced. She's tanking the company. Shareholders are furious. A junior exec whispered, what if it's love? Victor scoffed. Vances don't love, they conquer. But one person stayed quiet, Clara, Sophia's mentor, sipping tea with a knowing smile. She'd seen Sophia's lonely years, her smiles rehearsed for cameras. Now, Sophia was off script, and Clara's heart swelled. At the hangar, Sophia and Eli worked on a battered Cessna Eli had restored for years. Her hands, once signing contracts, now smudged with oil. She laughed, a sound so free it startled Eli. What? He asked. I'm happy, she said simply. By noon, a black SUV rolled up. Victor stepped out, suit crisp, face tight. Sophia, thank God. The world's imploding. She wiped her hands, unfazed. Your world, Victor. Not mine. His eyes flicked to Eli. And this, mechanic? Eli stepped forward. The guy who kept her jet from crashing. Sophia's voice cut sharp. I choose who stands with me. Victor's smile was cold. Investors won't. You're a Vance. Sophia turned to Eli, her hand finding his. I'm Sophia. Sophia's hand in Eli's felt like a vow, her grip steady despite Victor's glare. The hangar's rusted walls framed them, a fortress against the world's clamor. Sophia, this is reckless, Victor snapped, his voice echoing. Your jet's grounded, stocks are dipping, and you're, what? Playing grease monkey? Sophia's eyes blazed. I'm living, Victor. For me, not your spreadsheets. He laughed, bitter. You think this, he gestured at Eli, is your future? He's nobody. Eli's jaw tightened, but his voice stayed even. I'm the guy who saw the leak your pilots missed. Saved her life. Yours too, maybe. Victor's face reddened, but he pivoted to Sophia. The board's calling an emergency vote. Step back, or they'll strip your control. Sophia didn't flinch. Let them try. She turned to Eli. Come with me. He raised an eyebrow. Where? To show them I'm not ashamed of us. Eli hesitated, then nodded. They stepped outside, hands linked, into a storm of camera flashes. Reporters surged, shouting questions. Sophia, why him? Is this a PR stunt? She faced them, oil smudged on her cheek, radiant. He's real. That's enough. The internet roared, clips of their clasped hands hit millions of views. #Sophia and Eli trended, splitting opinions. Some called it a fairy tale, others, a scandal. Inside the SUV, Victor watched, fingers drumming. He'd built Sophia's empire beside her, but now she was unraveling it. You're throwing it all away, he'd texted earlier. She hadn't replied. For the first time, Sophia wasn't chasing legacy. She was chasing truth. As they walked toward her waiting jet, Eli squeezed her hand. Sure about this? Sophia smiled, fierce. Never been surer. The world could wait. She was rewriting her story. Sophia and Eli boarded the jet, its doors sealing with a heavy thud. Camera flashes faded, the tarmac's chaos left behind. Inside, the cabin gleamed, leather seats, polished wood, but Sophia sat beside Eli, her oil-stained hand in his. He glanced at her, still in his flannel, and chuckled. You look more mechanic than mogul. She grinned. Good. I'm done with mogul. The pilot's voice crackled. Destination, Ms. Vance? Sophia paused, eyes on Eli. Anywhere but here, she said. The engines roared, and the jet climbed, Skyhaven shrinking below. Eli watched the clouds, a man who'd never left his small town. This real? He asked. Sophia nodded. As real as it gets. Outside, the world spun. Social media exploded with #Sophia and Eli fan art, memes, and debates. She's living my dream, one post gushed. She's lost it, another sneered. Victor, back at Vance Aviation, faced a furious board. She's abandoning us, a shareholder barked. Clara, the mentor, spoke softly. She's finding herself. Let her. In the jet, Sophia and Eli shared a quiet moment. She traced the calluses on his hand. I've spent years building what others wanted, she said. You reminded me who I am. Eli's eyes softened. I just fixed a jet. She laughed. You fixed me. The jet leveled off, the horizon endless. Sophia wasn't running from her empire, she was redefining it. Eli wasn't chasing her wealth, he was her anchor. Together, they were unstoppable. What now? Eli asked. Sophia leaned closer, her voice a whisper. We build something new. Not an empire, a life. The jet soared, carrying them toward a future unwritten, where love, not legacy, would lead the way. The jet cruised above the clouds, a silver speck against the dusk. Inside, Sophia and Eli sat close, the hum of engines a steady pulse. Her phone buzzed, Victor's texts, boardroom ultimatums, media demands. She powered it off. They'll survive without me, she said, catching Eli's gaze. He smirked. You sure? World's losing it out there. Sophia shrugged. Let it. Below, #Sophia and Eli dominated feeds. Viral videos looped their tarmac walk, Sophia's barefoot defiance, Eli's quiet strength. Fans dubbed them the realest couple, while critics called Sophia's choice career suicide. Talk shows dissected it, TikTok turned their story into duets. Clara, watching from her office, smiled at a headline, Billionaire ditches empire for love. She'd always known Sophia's heart craved more than boardrooms. On the jet, Eli opened up. Grew up with nothing. Dad said, fix what's broken, even if it's you. Never thought I'd fix a jet, or meet you. Sophia's eyes glistened. I was broken too. Polished, but empty. You saw me. Their fingers laced, a silent promise. A new message blinked on the jet screen, Clara. Follow your truth, Sophia. The empire can wait. Sophia exhaled, free. She looked at Eli. Where do we land? He grinned. Somewhere quiet. No tarmacs, no suits. Just us. She nodded, whispering to the pilot. The jet banked, heading toward a small coastal town, far from headlines. Victor, meanwhile, faced a fracturing board. She'll crash us, he raged. But Clara's calm voice cut through. Or she'll soar. The jet touched down on a quiet airstrip, a sleepy coastal town stretching beyond. No cameras, no suits, just salt air and distant waves. Sophia and Eli stepped off, her bare feet on cool grass, his toolbox slung over his shoulder. She wore his flannel, he her smile. The world's noise felt a universe away. "This it?" Eli asked, scanning the horizon. Sophia nodded. "It's home." They walked to a small garage Eli had eyed online, its faded sign reading, "Turner's Repairs." His dream, once impossible, now real. Sophia's wealth didn't buy it, Eli's grit did. She'd sold a single jet share, insisting it be his. "No empires," she'd said. "Just us." Inside, they laughed, planning late-night fixes and beachside coffees. Online, #Sophia and Eli still raged. Fans shared sketches of their jet exit, haters predicted Sophia's regret. Victor spun damage control, but Clara took charge at Vance Aviation. "She's not gone," Clara told the board. "She's redefining legacy." Stock stabilized, Sophia's truth inspired trust. Months later, the garage hummed. Eli fixed cars, Sophia learned wrenches, her hands calloused but happy. They lived above the shop, meals on a toolbox, love in every glance. One evening, under starlight, Eli knelt. "No billions, just me. Marry me?" Sophia, tearful, whispered, "Yes." Their kiss sealed it, no headlines needed, the world moved on, but their story lingered, a viral spark of hope. People shared it, inspired to chase truth over status. Sophia and Eli didn't need applause. They had grease, grit, and each other. As waves crashed nearby, they faced the future, limitless as the sea. This wasn't an ending, it was the start of their greatest adventure.